For what we're teaching, or what we look to instill in the teachers, that everything they have, they don't have to go out for any special tools. The only special tool here would be the stamps that we're using. That's the only special tool that we have. Everything else is things that you have in the classroom. We have rolls of paper towels. We have the tempera paint, washable paint. You use that. We have markers, and the marker type of marker doesn't matter. Preferably the washable markers when you're working with the children. Brushes, any inexpensive brush. A lot of times the sponge brushes work very well. To mention one other tool that the teachers have, inexpensive, you can buy these by the pack, hundreds at the time, is the coffee filter. The coffee filter, because of the fibers in the coffee filter, it reacts sort of like a cloth. So it's inexpensive, it gives you that cloth-like feel. It's the fibers, and you want to use natural fibers anyway. So the coffee filter helps you with that process and stamping. And once you lay it out flat and you make your stamp on, then the child is able to embellish the coffee filter around the edge as they're using the coffee filter, and it helps. It will also give you that same as the tissue paper. It gives you that translucent look, but it gives you a stronger fiber to use. And as for longevity, coffee filter is recommended. Okay. The next process that for you in your classroom to help you out would be the paint, as we were talking about. The paint and a paper plate, there's not a whole lot of money involved, if you would. Very inexpensive process using the paint. All you need is a little bit of paint on the plate. And remember, I said you can use any brush, inexpensive brush. Okay. And these brushes, you can wash the brushes out, use them over again. Because of the cost of a sponge brush, you can toss them away. Spread the paint around inside the plate and have the child select the stamp. Now, each stamp has its own meaning, its own character. So have the child pick out a stamp that represents their character or a character they would like to aspire to. Now, stamp in the center of the plate. They do not have to press hard. Just set it down in the plate. You'll see the sign come up inside the plate, over onto the paper, and stamp in the center of the paper. They don't have to press hard. Press down and lift up, and that will give them their symbol. After having put their symbol on paper, then they're able to use any of the markers, any colors they want, and then have them decorate their piece. That is on simple typing paper. Again, you don't want to press hard, down onto the paper and lift up. What you're really looking for on your stamping is this. You want your symbols to have some character in them. You don't want a full colored symbol. Each symbol should have a color, and explain to them that when the clothing or the process is done in batiking, in the batiking process, and I will show you the cloth. This is actually batik cloth. When you look at the symbols in the batik cloth, none of the symbols are full. They all have character in them. And this is why we're saying they're not looking for a full colored symbol. And knowing children, they're always looking for that full symbol to keep them from feeling that their piece is not correct, or their piece is wrong, or there's something wrong with it. Explain to them about that, the character in the piece. And the more character, the better they'll feel about their piece. Some of the things that you're looking at explaining to the children that they can do is this is actual batik. It's done with wax and fabric dye. And that will be the final process. And that's what we're working towards. The wax we're using is paraffin wax. inexpensive wax, any grocery store, and you just put enough in, as I said, to cover the base of the stamp. Place the stamp into the wax till it's at the same temperature as the wax. The stamp has to be the same temperature as the wax in order to allow the stamping to go through the medium that you're using. Okay. Now, after it's at the temperature, shake off the stamp. Shake off excess wax. After you shake that off, then you're making your stamp onto the paper. Try to keep them down to at least one stamp, but you can make 2 stamps on a pass. Now, showing you the cloth, it has all the symbols on, the different stampings on them. They're not always full like this one here. Your coffee filter will give you a very even stamping. After stamping on the filters, they're able to then embellish them with watercolor, inks, dyes, anything they want to color onto the piece, and they can color right across the stamping. The wax will keep the ink from penetrating that one area. To demonstrate, you start with your lightest color first. And to demonstrate, you can go right across the ink, right across the stamping, and you'll notice that the yellow comes out, but it doesn't come across your wax. Your next color, the darker color, coming in with a darker color, see you have the same process, just this is demonstration only. Now, using the darker color, you go with your lighter colors first. It's hard to take a darker color and then put a lighter color over top of it. Explain that to your children also. So your lighter colors first, then your darker colors. And that way they can leave out any portion they want. And then their artistic abilities come out. There's no right, and explain to them, there is no right or wrong way of doing this. It's their creativity at work. That is what you want to express to them, their creativity, and not the instructor. The piece can be framed, and for a child to have their artwork framed is a very special thing. It's one thing to put their artwork on the refrigerator and say, oh, I like it, but to have a piece actually framed, put a little mat around it, that's a very special thing for a child. And we may develop the next Hank Herring, if you would. Thank you.
Here's a recap on the items that you'll need for your home or classroom. Paper towels, paper plates, washable paints, washable colored markers, inexpensive paintbrushes, coffee filters, typing paper, paraffin wax, and a small electric cooking pan to melt the wax. And remember to always have adult supervision when using the hot wax. You can purchase stamps at Wooden Things by calling 843-812-6496 or email hdherring@gmail.com.